So, new Chucky Season 4 updates? Scary or not? Let's talk about it and let me explain. Now, a couple of days ago, it was said by Deadline, the official quote reads, "The cancellation follows the move of SYFY's resident alien to USA. The fate of both Reginald the Vampire and Chucky, which is shared by SYFY and USA, has been pending and Chucky is still TBD. SYFY has Canadian co-pro Surreal Estate, which has been renewed for a third season, and new horror drama Revival on its upcoming slate." End quote. All of this news also follows the unfortunate cancellation of Reginald the Vampire. Now, my personal take on this is that it is scary, but until a cancellation is announced, like an official cancellation, my hopes still remain. Chucky could also face the same fate as Resident Alien and just move to USA Network. Now, recent rumors said that Chucky was already greenlit for season 4, and I already touched on this in a previous video, and that rumor could still be real. It's just Deadline is reporting on the real and current news we have and won't just report on rumors. Or they could have gotten word from SYFY and USA Network, although that isn't mentioned at all. Something I did want to include before we dive into some numbers, some news, and some more updates is that ever since this news broke, #RenewChucky has been trending on Twitter every single day. Now, to look at some of the numbers, and keep in mind when I go over Reginald the Vampire's numbers, this isn't to bash the show. I haven't seen it yet, so I have no right to criticize it, and I know how it feels to have a show that I love canceled, so I have empathy for that fan base. The only numbers we have for Reginald the Vampire Season 2 is episode 1 and 8, which do seem consistent with Season 1, which is odd that it was canceled, although maybe other episodes performed poorly, or there was just some other statistics, or maybe they wanted growth as well. Chucky, on the other hand, reports for part 1 of Season 3. Across all platforms, part 1 of Season 3 was the most watched of any USA Network / SYFY series since 2021 in the 18 to 49 demo at 971,000, which is fucking phenomenal. Chucky ranks as 2023's #1 series across USA Network and SYFY in the demo. And lastly, but not least, the first half of Season 3 was plus 29% in the total viewers and plus 34% in the demo versus Season 2 across all platforms. So you know how I mentioned growth with Reginald the Vampire? Well, Chucky seems to have seen growth, at least with part 1 of Season 3. In part 2's viewership numbers are episode 5 at 381,000, episode 6 at 316,000, episode 7 at 248,000, and episode 8 lastly at 193,000. Now I'll admit a bit of a drop off from episode to episode, but it's still not bad. When compared to Surreal Estate, another SYFY show that was renewed, the numbers are pretty comparably good. Now, it is important to mention that USA Network, at least on part 2, did seem to hold more viewership than SYFY on all episodes, but these numbers could grow from more official reports like from USA Network or SYFY, and they could drop those part 2 numbers and viewership numbers with a Season 4 announcement. It's also important to know that even if the show is canceled, Surreal Estate was once canceled by SYFY, and then the cancellation was reversed, so who knows? Or again, it can switch networks or be sold as per recent rumors. Now, this is where I'm coming in to provide a recent update. The Beyond reporter said on Twitter that Chucky could be canceled, although it always could be. It's always a possibility, as the rumor suggests. Or it could be renewed again by SYFY or revived on Peacock, and that's very interesting to hear. Again, maybe USA Network too, but it can be sold, which is good news, since it could mean the show can live on even if canceled by SYFY, just on a different network. So yeah, that's the most recent rumor / update. So that's all I want to talk about in the video. What are your thoughts? As per usual, all sources will be linked down below. Thanks for watching. Peace, my amigos, and peace out.